The bottom line is you still have to earn the right to be good. You still have to go out and play well to win games. You got to prepare to play well.
The Mercer Bears fresh off their most successful season in program history. So what comes next for Coach Cronick's crew in 2022? Plus,
478. You just here, it's home. People gonna know you. People gonna love you. It's a good vibe. Everything. Playing against your brothers. You don't probably play against E4.
As one program looks to build from within, it's the dawn of a new era for another, with a new man in charge. From Milledgeville to Fort Valley and everything in between, 13 WMAZ's College Football Kickoff starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 2022 College Football Kickoff. I'm Marvin James alongside Connor Hines as we get you set for Saturdays in the fall. The sky's the limit for the Mercer Bears this season, and a big-time challenge awaits in Week 2 on the Plains. Plus, a new era begins in the Valley for the Wildcats, and we're hearing from Coach Rob Manchester on how he's building a program with our players from our own backyard.
Yeah, Marv, that's exactly right. And it's hard to talk college ball in the Peach State without talking about the defending national champs. It feels like only yesterday that this guy was in Indy for the national championship. We're going to discuss over the next 25 minutes about the Dogs and how they've got every intention of doing it again, plus a few important pieces from right here in Central Georgia. Now, meanwhile, it's do or die on the flats for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We're hitting everything you need to know, and we're glad you're along for the ride this fall. Now, first up, in just a short amount of time, Mercer head coach Drew Cronick has put the Bears back on the map in a big way. Look no further than last season. It was the Bears' best in program history. And as 2022 begins, Mercer now has an even stronger identity, a mission, and a couple guys leading the way that make the Bears not just a top contender in the SoCon, but the national conversation as well. Check it out.
This camp, we didn't have kids leaving. They want to be here. They want to play. They want to be good.
Through Drew Cronick's first 2 seasons in Macon, that wasn't always the case. But as all change takes time, the time has finally arrived for the Bears, who feel stronger than ever about where they're headed.
We want the identity of our program to start with the offensive line. And if you're physical there, you're going to stop the run on defense because you have to do it every day in practice. And hopefully the identity of our program is going to be we can run the ball and you can't run it on us. And I think we have some pieces in place to do that.
No pieces bigger to the puzzle than linebackers Isaac Dowling and Lance Wise, who had no issue buying in.
Coach Cronick, he had the right mentality. You know, he was a win-first guy, a team-first guy, and it made it easy to follow the line that he set, and it kind of helped us, you know, become leaders in our own way on the field because, you know, we needed some player leadership too, and he kind of molded us and guided us to become those type of guys.
Dowling is just a sophomore. Coach Cronick's Bears are all he's ever known, so it's kind of the only option.
It just comes with, you know, just being comfortable who you are and then, you know, just embracing, you know, what they want you to do because, you know, I'm more so a quiet person. So, you know, coming in, you know, they wanted me to speak up. You know, I took that as a challenge, you know, because at the end of the day, it's going to help everyone get better.
As for Wise, he remembers what it was like then and welcomes his new role now.
I take it very seriously because, like I said, we lost a lot of players and we're a relatively younger team. So we have to pull guys along if we want to be the best team that we can be, and we get better every day. And to be that vocal leader, you might have to pull some guys that maybe are down on themselves, and you have to be there for them to let them know that we're still here for you outside of the football.
Drew Cronick has his guys, and if Mercer's ready to again raise the bar this fall, they'll certainly have something to do with it.
It's great to see older guys that are having success that chose to stick with this, a change. They're locked in and they're enjoying what's going on, and I'll have those guys in a foxhole with me anytime.
Now, the Bears picked to finish second in the preseason polling. That is another all-time high.
Now, one game everybody has an eye on this season for the Bears, a Week 2 trip to Auburn to face the Tigers, but also a nice payday for the Mercer Athletic Department. When the Bears head to Jordan Air Stadium, it'll mark the 7th consecutive year that Mercer has faced an FBS opponent, and the Bears have yet to win in that stretch. But there's more. On average, you can expect an FCS program like Mercer to receive between $450,000 and $650,000 from Auburn just by making the trip.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that we've seen this matchup. The two faced off back in 2017 at Auburn, the Tigers pulling away with the 24-10 win. And while the financial aspects of the game certainly play a big role, there's more that the Bears will get out of their trip to Auburn. We caught up with athletic director Jim Cole to get his thoughts about David taking on Goliath.
I really want them to go over to that game and see how the SEC runs things. And I'm not saying we can come back and duplicate it, but I do think we can find certain things that we bring back and say, hey, I like how we were treated as a visiting team. Let's do that for Citadel when they come here. So it is, all in all, it raises the bar for us. It's not just sell out the department, go play Auburn so we can pay bills. I can pay bills without playing Auburn, but you know, it's to me just a great experience.
Yeah, what a challenge, what a year this could be for the Mercer Bears.
Now we head down to the Valley, where it's a new day for the Fort Valley State Wildcats. There will be a new face under the headset leading the blue and gold this fall in his first season at FVSU, looking to gain ground in the SIAC standings and play for another title more sooner than later. Just 3 years ago, Kevin Porter wrapped up his 5-year stint as the Fort Valley State head football coach, then entered the 2-year Maurice Flowers era, which was limited due to a canceled COVID-19 season in 2020 and a 5-5 campaign in 2021. Today, Sean Gibbs holds the reins to a program which has seen 4 head coaches in less than 7 years. And he says he's ready to help the program return to credibility and trending in the right direction.
Well, the word that you said is the thing we're really focusing on right now, and that's consistency. Coming out every day with the intentions of getting better, trying to improve, focusing on the little things, and being fundamentally sound.
Last season, the Wildcats admit they underachieved and fell short of their goals and out of postseason play, losing the last 2 games of the year, falling to .500 on the campaign, and the first-year Top Cat is looking to improve on those numbers.
It's a dream come true to have a chance to lead a football team, but you know, now I'm realizing all the other responsibility that comes along with being a head coach. So I'm learning on the go, but I'm excited about it.
Gibbs has been on campus since February, and with spring and summer drills and a fall camp under his belt, he feels his team is ready for kickoff.
Well, I'm pleased that we're a lot better than we were in the spring, and you know, that's what I was looking for, especially on offense. I think defensively we got some talent over there. We still got to work on it and gel and get our guys running to the football consistently and playing the type of defense we want to play, but I'm excited and I can't wait to see these guys play on September 4th.
All right, so you've met Coach Gibbs. Now let's take a look at what he's working with in his first year at Fort Valley State. Namely, it's a trio of local boys who will be looking to make the difference in the trenches. Heading into his first year, Coach Gibbs turning in 7 total Wildcats named to the SIAC's 2022 preseason all-conference team. That includes senior O-lineman and former Westside Seminole Emmanuel Boone, sophomore D-end and Peach County High School alum Tim Alderman, and junior D-lineman and former Hoco Bear Caleb Thomas.
Now, the Wildcats have certainly lost some talent from last season, but they do bring back top rushing option Emmanuel Wilson. The Wildcats also opened 2022 with Tuskegee University on Sunday in Montgomery, Alabama in the Red Tails Classic.
All righty, now we head out to Milledgeville, where head coach Rob Manchester begins his 3rd season in charge of, just one of the best junior college programs in the state of Georgia. That would be the GMC Bulldogs. What makes them so great after all? Well, ask Coach, and it's all thanks to the graduating high school talent playing right before our eyes here in Central Georgia.
But if you really want it, this is the place to be and go get it.
If you think junior college ball isn't quite as serious as the D1 game, well, the GMC Bulldogs might just have to disagree.
Honestly, if you can survive through JUCO, you can play at any level of football. Because JUCO, people out here fighting for their life. It ain't like you just out here on scholarship. People out here trying to ball for real, like get to the next level, make money, feed their families. Like people out here for real grinding every day. That's why it's a special thing to be here. Because like you know you got to get it.
Former Westside Seminole Kennedy Parker is one of 19 Central Georgia stars, a part of this year's team in Milledgeville. Just how head coach Rob Manchester would have it.
If we're going to be promoting ourselves as Georgia's junior college football team, then we need to, put the proof in the pudding, so to speak. If you see a roster that doesn't have the percentages there, you got half your roster from out of state, then you're really not Georgia's junior college football team.
Manchester enters his 3rd season in charge of the Bulldogs this fall, but it only took him a few weeks to realize the level of talent he recruits in our own backyard.
I want to have more. My hope and my goal is that we can almost become 100% a roster from Georgia. This area here, Central Georgia, I think it's a hotbed for recruiting. Obviously you have Atlanta. I think Atlanta gets over-recruited sometimes, but if people kind of get out in the rural areas, get out and beat the roads in the state of Georgia, you're going to find great players.
And those great players finding their way to GMC, not only to better their chances at getting to play Division I football, but in the meantime, keeping Central Georgia's talent right where it belongs.
Really so close to home where my family can come see the games. And like a lot of my friends come see the games, not that far drive. You 478, you just here, it's home. People gonna know you, people gonna love you. It's a good vibe, everything. Playing against your brothers, you don't probably played against these folks in high school. Just seeing familiar faces again, really.
Coach Manchester calls JUCO ball a means to an end. That end, of course, being the chance to continue on and play at the next level. Right now, Georgia's junior college is giving its guys the best shot at doing just that.
To come in here, we don't want this to be their last place to play football. Whether you need the grades or you don't, we're trying to basically get it into them, and that, hey, look, you come in here, you work hard, you get your grades, then yes, you can live that dream, hopefully going on to Division I.
And as for what we can expect on Davenport Field this fall, GMC ready to rock and roll into 2022.
These my boys, man. We've been together for like a year now. I done bled, hurt with these boys. I'm ready to see everybody make plays more than I'm excited to see myself make plays. I want to see them boys ball.
Yeah, week 2 for the Bulldogs this Saturday against Monroe College in Milledgeville.
Now, still to come on our college football kickoff show, it's time to head up to Athens and check in with the champs and a closer look at which of Central Georgia's own will be making an impact between the hedges this fall. Plus, a very special year it will be on the flats as the Georgia Tech football program honors a Lawrence County legend. We'll tell you what to expect this fall, but will the Yellow Jackets be able to live up to expectations on the field as well? Third-year head coach Jeff Collins shares his thoughts on the pressure in 2022.
And as we go to break, download the 13 WMAZ Plus app for all of your football needs this fall. In case you missed the highlights at 6 or 11, fear not. Stream full newscasts around the clock whenever you want. Find football highlights from your players and teams all season long. Plus, you can catch our Tailgate 13 and Football Friday night shows each week as well. It's all streaming on demand on the 13 WMAZ Plus app. Download the app today on your Roku and Amazon devices. All right, welcome back to our 2022 college football kickoff, and it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, or should we say, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's right. You know the story by now. The Georgia Bulldogs ending a 41-year championship drought, winning the 2021 national championship last season in Indianapolis. I was there to see it for myself in the Circle City, but it's a new year for the Dogs in Athens. Now, Georgia lost a record-setting 15 players in the 2022 NFL Draft, including #1 overall pick and Upson League graduate Trayvon Walker and former Chris County Cougar Quay Walker at 22nd overall. Now, of course, some of the usual suspects are back as well this fall, most notably quarterback Stetson Bennett, All-American tight end Brock Bowers, and on the other side of the football, senior linebacker Nolan Smith and defensive back Keely Ringo. Still, though, there's no questioning that a new group of Dogs will be called on to fill the void. Earlier this summer at SEC Media Days, head coach Kirby Smart addressed the need for new guys to step up, and it's not something he's all too concerned about.
That does not concern me in the least, because to be complacent, you have to have done something and achieved something. The men on this team for this season have not done that. They have not. We had 15 players that are now gone to NFL camps or draft picks. They're gone. And we have some returning players, but they're hungry as ever. People have asked the question, how does it feel to be hunted? We will not be hunted at the University of Georgia. I can promise you that. A lot of guys want to prove that they can replace the other guy. And they don't want to be the other guy. They want to be the next guy.
And when it comes to who's going to be the next guy in 2022, Marv, we've got a handful of them right here in Central Georgia. 4 local Bulldogs from last year's championship team making their return this fall to Athens after initially deciding to enter the transfer portal. Bleckley County's Amarius Mims, he returns for his sophomore season, as does former Baldwin Brave Javon Bullard, who's looking to make waves in the Dogs' secondary this fall. Tatnall Square Academy alum George Vining, and last but certainly not least, for his senior season between the hedges, wideout and special teams all-star Kieris Jackson.
The former Peach County Trojan has been battling a minor ankle injury in the weeks leading up to the Dogs' season opener with Oregon, but whether or not he's on the field is the evolution of Jackson's role in the locker room that both he and Coach Smart have been most proud of.
Yeah, as for when he is on the field this season, Action Jackson, will regularly figure into the kick return game. He ranked 4th in all the SEC in punt return average 1 year ago. This time around, he's been named to the preseason All-SEC first team at SEC Media Days. But UGA hopes his contributions don't stop there. Coach Smart saying earlier this summer that Jackson's role is impressive because he's also competing with the other wideouts and not to mention the tight ends as well for those starting reps. We caught up with Kieris this spring at G-Day to talk about his last go between the hedges.
Last year wasn't the season I wanted to have. I guess when I came back another season, I still have stuff I have to prove, and I still have stuff that I want to put out on tape that I know I'm capable of doing. So with me coming back another season to help not only myself, but to help my teammates and to help Georgia win another national championship.
Kieris is a leader. He represents our university the right way. He's on part of so many committees and boards, and he seems like he's been here forever. So I really appreciate what he's done in that regard. He's been a team player. He's got to continue to improve. So for him, it's very important that he knows his role, he understands his role, and he creates value in the way he plays.
Can't wait for Georgia to open its title defense against Oregon on Saturday afternoon inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Let's now switch gears and take a trip of I-75 where the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will certainly have something to prove in 2022. And they'll do it all while honoring one of our local legends.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hard to believe, Marv. It's already been 8 months since we lost the former West Lawrence Raider, Demaryius Thomas, who went on to win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. And appropriately on August 8th, it was Thomas's alma mater honoring number 88. Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning, who won Super Bowl 50 with Thomas, he was in attendance to help unveil a special DT8 logo that will be featured on the field all year long at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Thanks to the Peyton Manning Payback Foundation, Manning also launched the Demaryius Thomas Scholarship Endowment, which will specifically help underserved first-year students from Lawrence County. Additionally, beginning this season on the flats, the number 8 jersey will also be awarded on a yearly basis to players that represent the program in the same selfless way that Demaryius Thomas did. Sophomore wide receiver Nate McCullum and sophomore D lineman Makias Scott will be the first to receive that honor.
They've seen Demaryius as a football player for the Denver Broncos and winning Super Bowls and going to Pro Bowls. They've seen the highlights of him as a Georgia Tech football player, but then to hear who he was as a person, who he was as a man, who he was as a teammate, that resonated very deeply with them, and just really proud of the day.
As for what to expect from Tech on the field this year, well, nobody really knows for sure. Coach Jeff Collins enters his 4th season on the flats, but through the first 3, he's just 9-25 overall. With the seat a bit warmer this year, Tech brings in 7 total new position coaches and 17 transfers, which should help energize the program. But even then, the competition is pretty fierce. According to Phil Steele's strength of schedule rankings, Tech owned the 11th toughest FBS schedule in 2021, but this year that jumps to the 3rd toughest in all of the land. The Jackets open this year's campaign Monday night with a big-time test against Clemson. Other challenges include a home date with Ole Miss on September 17th, Miami on November 12th, and of course, the Dogs in Athens on November 26th. And we'll just have to wait and see if the Jackets are up to task this season.
All righty, time winding down in the 4th quarter of our college football kickoff. Up next, we're going to head into the grandstand to put our final thoughts on what promises to be a very exciting college football season in the Peach State. We're coming back right after this. All right, welcome back. Before we finally put a bow on our 2022 college football preview, it's time to head into the grandstand and discuss the season ahead. Marv, what storyline are you looking forward to most in 2022?
Alabama. Coach Saban has already been, quoted as saying that last year was a rebuilding year. Ouch, Georgia. But he definitely said that, and I just want to see how Alabama really, responds and how they play this year. I mean, we know that it wasn't a rebuilding year last year. They played amazing. Have Heisman quarterback Bryce Young coming back. I'm just very interested to see how they return to the field and how much hungrier they will be to play in the college football playoff and the national championship.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to stick right here in Macon. We talked about the Mercer Bears earlier in the show. Man, it's hard to pass up what they're doing here in Macon. The best season in program history. Believe it or not, they were not picked to win the SoCon this year. So Coach Cronick's team may be feeling a little disrespected. I think it's going to be a very exciting season over at Five Star Stadium. Now, meanwhile, in Atlanta, it's do or die for the Jackets. We've already talked about Coach Collins. Is he truly on the hot seat this year?
Absolutely, scorching. I think that he's underachieved so far in the time he's been there. You talk to Georgia Tech fans and fans all across the ACC will definitely agree to that, attest to that. Clemson is definitely still the team to beat in that conference, and I think that he's got a tough schedule, as we talked about earlier in the show. And to go 7-4, it seems doable, but easier said than done.
Yeah, easier said than done. It's one of the toughest schedules in the country, as we already talked about. And I'm right there with you. I mean, Coach Collins, he has his work cut out for him, but man, Georgia Tech fans they're almost as ruthless as Georgia Bulldogs fans.
Sure.
So it's a very high bar set there. Speaking of Georgia, the elephant in the room, or the Bulldogs, can they repeat this year?
Absolutely. I think they're the team to beat, actually, because they are the champs and they have so many people returning. The one thing that Georgia fans have to take into account, it's not going to be that same team. It's not going to be that same no-name defense that came out there and regulated on every Saturday. But I think they still have the tools to come out there and get the job done.
I'm right there with you. Yes, that's my answer. I think Georgia's winning again in 2022, so we will have to wait and see. Hey, remember, if you missed any part of this college football kickoff show, you can stream all of it on demand anytime you want.
And if you miss anything on any Saturday or Friday night this fall, stream a full newscast and also catch our football Friday night shows with all the marquee matchups and highlights from all your Central Georgia teams. Just download the 13 WMAZ Plus app on your Roku and Amazon devices and watch all season long.
Our time is up here in the preview. We hope you've enjoyed this taste of what you're going to be seeing every Saturday night all across the Peach State this fall.
The college football season is finally here, and we can't wait. The two of us will talk to you on Saturday night from the Benz in Georgia and Oregon, officially opening the 2022 season. Doesn't get much better than that. Until then, so long, and have a marvelous night, Central Georgia.